Howdy guys, so being a photography YouTuber, I tend to, review a lot of equipment, and, you might think I'm super rich having so many different cameras and gadgets here, but the simple truth of the matter is I bought pretty much everything used, I've rented some things, etc, etc. So in this video, I'm going to go through my kind of like top 3, sort of 3.5, there's a bonus tip in there, methods for finding cheap gear so you don't have to buy brand new and waste a bunch of money. So let's just get right into it. So my first and favorite place to get used gear is eBay, and you probably can't read that, but this says eBay on this little slip of paper. So anyways, I know a lot of people are kind of afraid of eBay. It does have a bit of a bad reputation for having scammers and stuff, but honestly that's not entirely true. I've been selling on eBay for about 9 years on and off, and I've just never really had a bad experience selling or buying anything. So let's hop on over to the computer here, and I'll kind of show you my methodology for hunting down good gear, checking if the seller is legitimate, and so on and so forth. So let's hop to the computer. So as an example here, we're going to pretend that we're buying the Sigma 30mm for Sony E-mount. So we're going to type that in. And then you're going to see a big list of different sellers and different listings, and if you don't know how eBay works, individual people like me, like you, can sell their stuff on here. Obviously there's plenty of big companies, there's some scammers, that sort of thing, but I'm going through the list here, and personally it might sound kind of counterintuitive, but I try to avoid any that have stock photos. Like these two, I don't know, I'm just not interested. This obviously is a big reseller right here, so this is pretty legitimate, 99% positive rating, and Focus Camera is like a legitimate website, so like this listing you can definitely trust. But I'm going to look at used listings, so we're going to go down here and check used, and now this is just going to show me every single used listing. So honestly, the first one on the list here, $200, that's a good bit cheaper than new, so I'm going to click on this. And there's a couple of things I look for. Obviously, you want to go through the pictures here. The lens, it does look decently clean. There might be some smudges on the glass, but I don't think it's like damage. I think it just needs like, some time with a microfiber cloth. Back looks a little beat up. I'd probably skip this, to be honest. It looks kind of nasty. So let's move on to the next. Here's another example right here. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to take a look at these pictures. Definitely looking a lot more clean than the last one. So the pictures look good. I usually check the description, though most people just use the crappy AI description, which doesn't give any good information. So the description here is pretty much useless. And then if I find something that looks pretty good, I'll check the seller's account. So right here, we have, looks like a pretty new seller, only 59 reviews, but he is 100% positive. So I'm going to click on that, just make sure that these look good, nothing too sketchy. Nope, seems legit. I think it might just be somebody selling off their camera gear who doesn't need it. So from that point, yeah, you can just, hit buy it now. It's no different than like Amazon. You just put in your credit card, and then the buyer or the seller ships it to you eventually. And in 99% of cases, if there is an issue, like there's something broken, etc., eBay will usually side with you. And like I said, I've been selling on eBay for 9 years, and I'm a full-time reseller as my day job, so to speak. And you just don't get scammed on eBay unless you're selling like, iPhones or buying iPhones or something. So that's eBay. And then obviously there's plenty of other things you can buy, like let's just type in Sony a7 III body only. Go down to used, and you can see there's plenty of good looking options here. I mean, this is a pretty new account, but that's fine. That's under $1,000 with good reviews. So yeah, I have gotten most of my stuff from eBay. I bought my A6000 for $325 many years ago from eBay. Picked up my a7 III a long time ago with a huge set of lenses. It probably around $2,200 value for $1,500 is what I paid a couple of years ago for it. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. I love eBay. It's personally my favorite choice, and I'd highly recommend you give it a try depending on what you're looking to buy. But let's move on to the next one. And now next up is Facebook Marketplace or something like Letgo, Airflip, it depends, maybe even Craigslist. But yeah, so it's kind of similar to eBay. However, you're limited to just your city or local area. You don't have like the entire country to buy from like you do in eBay. I found a couple of good things on Marketplace. It's usually not my first pick. I prefer eBay, but in any case, let's hop on the computer here and I'll show you kind of how to find good deals here. So a thing to know about Marketplace is that it's just gonna have mostly trash because the average person has no idea, you know, how to price their things, which can be to your benefit, but usually, yeah, good stuff here on Facebook Marketplace, ladies and gentlemen. But anyways, so what you're gonna want to do on here, Marketplace kind of sucks because it's, you know, a Facebook company, but they're usually gonna show you things that are from like 300 miles away despite your search parameters, and sometimes they'll show you listings from like 6 weeks ago that have obviously been purchased already. So usually what I like to do is go up to the search bar here, and just as an example, I'm going to type in Sony lens, hit enter. Like I said, it's going to show me a bunch of crap from like 6 weeks ago. So on the left side, you're going to go to date listed, and then I usually do like 7 days. If you want to like try to snipe good deals, you can do a day, but I usually do 7 days, and this will show every listing from the last 7 days. And then you can just go through here, you know, see if there's anything good. I personally am not seeing anything that great. I mean, we can take a look at this A6000 here. Okay, so actually this leads me to my next point. This platform has an insane amount of scammers. Like, it is disgusting. This is a good example. Anywhere where they list their phone number in the listing, I would just avoid that. It's a scam. Pretty much every time. If they tell you to go to a certain website, like they have a link, it's a scam. Skip it. But there are some good deals to be found here. Like, let's see. Let's take this for example. This is listed a couple hours ago, obviously, and it's, you know, a little bit cheaper than buying brand new. And there's no pictures of the product here, so I would actually probably skip this. That in any case, when you find a listing that you like, you know, check the value of it, make sure it's actually a decent deal, look through the pictures, same as eBay, make sure it looks pretty nice. And then a neat thing about Facebook is you can actually click on the person's profile and make sure they're actually like a legitimate human. This guy looks pretty legit. He looks like a friendly guy. I don't know. Another thing to look through is to see if the person selling the item is in any like photography groups. That's usually a dead giveaway that they're probably legit. And then when you're actually ready to buy through Marketplace, never pay to have it shipped. Please do not pay to have it shipped. You should only buy if you can meet the seller in person, give them cash, pay them via Venmo, and have the item in your hand. Preferably in a safe public location, police station, gas station, something like that. I personally have not bought too many things off of Marketplace. I usually buy things from Facebook to flip on eBay, because that's what I do, like I said, for my day job. However, a couple of months ago, I did pick up a Zeiss lens. I put it up on the screen here somewhere. I bought it for $200 on Facebook, and then I ended up selling it for about twice as much later on eBay after I shot a video and used it for like, you know, a couple of weeks. So there's decent finds to be had here, but definitely not as good as eBay. But let's move on to the next. Now let's talk about refurbished products. So this is kind of a bit strange. It's sort of a mix between buying new versus buying used. So on Amazon here, I noticed that they have a bunch of items that they call renewed. It's the term for refurbished. And I have bought a couple of them over the years. We look at two examples right here. So here I have the A7C. New price on Amazon at least is $15.98 versus the quote-unquote refurbished price is $13.69. So that's kind of interesting because you're saving quite a bit of money, and you might say like, oh, but it's used. From my experience, typically buying these refurbished products from Amazon, I've just gotten stuff like brand new in the packaging despite paying less. So that's something to consider. And then I did the same thing actually with my Mini 2 here. So this is just an example. This is the Mini 3 Pro, obviously, because they kind of discontinued the Mini 2. But on DJI's website here for drones, for example, you can see the Mini 3 Pro costs $599 new with the standard, you know, basic smartphone controller. Versus if you buy it refurbished, you're saving over $100. And like I said, when I bought my drone, I paid substantially less for it, and it came in a brand new box that had the plastic wrap on it. So I just paid less for a brand new item. And obviously you might not get that lucky every time, but I know a lot of people who bought like refurbished items from, you know, either Amazon, DJI, directly from the manufacturer, and they've pretty much gotten brand new things. So that's just something to consider. And this is something I definitely don't make use of as much as, like, you know, buying on eBay, but just consider it. And then finally, before we end the video, just a quick bonus tip. Now, this doesn't apply to everybody, but I like to use Lensrentals.com. BorrowLenses.com is also a good, you know, competitor for a lot of my gear, because being a photography YouTuber, I typically don't need things for a long time. Obviously, I need my camera bodies because they're like the backbone of the system, so to speak. But for lenses, I usually only need them for a week or two. So I tend to use Lensrentals.com. So I can pay, you know, $50 to $100, let's just say, to, you know, use a lens for a week, week and a half, and then I can send it back. And it's a lot cheaper than having to buy it, you know, whether that be used or new. So that's just a little bonus tip. I do have an affiliate link for it. You know, if you want to rent a lens, you get like, I think like $25 off if you click the link or something. But yeah, just something to consider. But yeah, that sums it up. You know, if I had to choose between any of these methods, like I've said, I would suggest just buying stuff used on eBay. It's a much safer platform than most people think, and I personally have sold over, I think, about 3,000 items there over the last couple of years, and, you know, I've just never had to face any like scams or sketchy buyers or sellers for that matter. So I would suggest eBay. But yeah, guys, if this video helped you out, you know, please consider dropping a like, drop a comment, let me know, like, do you have any other tips that I didn't cover here that I might not have thought about? Have you bought from eBay? Are you scared to buy from eBay? Drop a comment and let me know. And then finally, consider subscribing for the algorithm. Thank you guys and have a great day.